The evacuation alarm had been going for 6 hours when I finally asked my supervisor if I could borrow a ground vehicle. His name was Torrin, 8 feet of gray chitin and worry, and he looked at me like I'd asked to borrow his firstborn. I was standing in the operations bay of Verath 7, a moon with the most violent storm systems in the sector, watching the most beautiful radar return I'd ever seen, category equivalent to 15 simultaneous EF5 tornadoes. My heart rate was up for the first time in months. I saw my first tornado at 6 years old, standing on my grandmother's porch in Oklahoma. She didn't run, neither did I. I thought it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. Still do. Torrin thought I'd misunderstood. He explained the evacuation again, slower this time, using smaller words. Mandatory withdrawal, all personnel, no exceptions. I told him I understood fine. I wanted to drive into the storm and take readings. Silence. He called 2 colleagues over. They spoke in low tones I wasn't supposed to hear. One of them, a Pelori with long fingers that wouldn't stop fidgeting, quietly asked Torrin if humans had a ritual around death that involved weather. I heard that part. I laughed, genuinely laughed. I told them no, I just really liked storms. More silence. He filed 3 separate incident reports before I got my boots on. The sky turned a color I don't have a word for, not purple, not green, something that felt like pressure behind your eyes when you looked at it. 100 miles of rotating atmospheric violence stretched from horizon to horizon. I was alone in a reinforced ground vehicle on the surface, grinning like an idiot, giving calm radio readings. Barometric pressure, wind shear, electrical discharge intervals. Back on the evacuation ship, my entire alien crew watched my camera feed in silence. 12 of them packed into the monitoring bay, not one of them speaking. One of them had 6 eyes, 5 of them were covered, the 6th one couldn't look away. I was in the middle of calling out wind speed readings, 412 kilometers per hour for the record, when the vehicle went sideways and I whooped. Not on purpose, it just came out. The kind of sound you make on the best roller coaster you've ever ridden. The vehicle spun, slammed down, and I kept narrating. Pressure drop, electromagnetic signatures, debris composition between the whoops. Back on the ship, they couldn't tell if I was experiencing joy or a complete psychological break. Torrin later told me he'd started drafting a condolence letter to my family, but my data was extraordinary. Readings the Galactic Weather Service had never collected from inside a Class 9 storm. Nobody had ever been inside one to collect them. Then it passed just like that. The vehicle was on its side in a valley that hadn't been there that morning. I climbed out, dusty ears ringing, equipment battered but intact. And the sky had gone completely still and the color had settled into something between gold and green that had no business existing. I stood in it for a long time. Wind gone, air warm, just this impossible light on a moon that was trying to kill me 20 minutes ago. I thought about my grandmother's porch. I got on the radio. Raise to base, I'm okay, that was incredible. Can we check the forecast for next week? Torrin was waiting at the airlock when I got back. He didn't say anything for a while, then he handed me a data pad, most complete Class 9 interior dataset in Galactic Weather Service history. 3 research institutions had already requested copies. 2 of them had never contacted the GWS before. He scrolled to the bottom. Preliminary analysis said the data could reshape atmospheric modeling for the entire sector. Then he looked at me very carefully, like he was asking someone to defuse a bomb. He asked if I would be willing to do it again. I was already pulling up the sector forecast before he finished asking. Humans will run toward anything that moves fast enough. What should we be chasing next? Drop it in the comments.